how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, will he or won't he? Will Jonathan Majors testify? That's going to be the topic of this particular video. But listen, while you are here, please hit that like button. And if you like what you see, please consider subscribing to my page. Once you subscribe, you'll be opened up to a plethora of movies, television series, and pop culture chats. All right. Uh, Thank you so much for my new subscribers. I know a lot of you all are here because of my reviews of the Jonathan Majors case. I have placed all those reviews and trial updates in one playlist. So go check that out. If you like it, please subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And also check out my daily coverage of this case. I do a recap every night at 8:40 p.m. on my YouTube page, my Facebook page, and my Twitter page. So there is no excuse for you not to be able to see what I think in regards to this case. All right. So the big question of the day after the text messages have come out, which don't paint Mr. Majors in a good light. Also, the text, we are out of context. We don't have complete context about what these texts mean. Again, you can read these texts and you can make the assumption, that, he says he's a monster, he's a monster. If he is tweeting that he wants to commit suicide and all of those, excuse me, I'm going to call it pruning, excuse me. Any of those things you can read into those texts, but those texts, again, we have no no context of what was really going on with those texts. We don't know exactly what the full conversation was because, again, uh, it was heavily redacted, and it was redacted because those texts, along with other information, was sealed by the judge because he believed that it would be prejudicial to Jonathan Majors, particularly when they don't have direct bearing on what happened on March 25th. All right, so where are we in the case? So we've had Miss Jabari to testify, and Miss Jabari testified. She was on the stand for what, 2.5 days. Uh, there was a vigorous cross from Jonathan Major's attorney to her. She said all the things that happened. She was a little contradictory, but as far as her saying that she was afraid of him, but yet she chased him 5 blocks. She talked about being afraid of him and scared of him coming home, but she was at his home. And we also found out that her sister or a sibling lives in New York that she could have gone. So I think Danny Does Law stated it best that that she wasn't fearful of him more than she was hesitant of him. And those are two completely different things. But at the end of her testimony, those text messages was in, and we've gone through the whole weekend listening and understanding about those texts. One of the pieces that we didn't talk about in depth was the fact that the arresting officer, Officer Swain, was on the witness stand, and he testified to a couple of things. One of the things is that he had placed in his police report that Ms. Jabari had a cut on her eye. He comes back to say in court that that was incorrect. That was not true. He did not see a cut on her eye, but he put in his report that he saw a cut on her eye. He also explained how he saw the scene when he got there. He was asked several questions in regards to, did Mr. Majors talk about the fact that Mr. Jabari had uh, grabbed his phone, had torn his clothes, or anything like that. He initially testified that no, he didn't say anything. They played back the body cam footage because remember, those police officers had body cam footage. They played back the body cam footage, and it was revealed that Mr. Majors did say that he was attacked. He was, she broke his coat. He didn't document that. Officer Swain said he didn't document that, but he does now see that he speak to Mr. Majors in regards to that. So he was not on trial. He was not on the stand that long. I understanding that they're possibly going to the sergeant who okayed the arrest of Mr. Majors on the 25th. I believe he is going to take the stand on Monday. But as we were leaving court Friday, uh, the driver is supposed to testify. He didn't testify, or they didn't start the testimony on Friday because of the fact that the driver speaks Urdu. Urdu is his native tongue. And it's not that the driver does not understand English. It's just the fact that as far as terms like object, sustained, and all those different things, they want to make sure that when he speaks, when he hears it, that he understands. He has a clearer understanding. I think the judge asked him some questions about it, and the judge didn't feel like he understood the legalese enough in English that he would be able to speak. Uh, he would understand the court proceedings, I think, and I think so. They decided that they were going to make sure that he uh, was spoken to in his native tongue, and so that the translator can do that for them. So we have that, and I did talk about the text messages, and um, those appear to be damning. We also have the physician who treated Ms. Jabari to come to testify. And I think we're going to hear from the three friends that were outside of the apartment building on I guess it's Lafayette Street. That's where that apartment where we see the video that's been around social media, where she's talking to the three planes, and then Jonathan Majors walks by, and then she goes and she follows him. So we're going to see those different things. So the question is, will Jonathan Majors testify? Here's my opinion from Pam Entertainment TV about from all the information that I have and all the stuff. I don't think it's necessary for him to testify. When we go back to Ms. Jabari's testimony, she admitted to being the initial aggressor as far as with forcibly snatching the phone, twisting around, and refusing to give him his property. She also admitted that she he was trying to get away from her, and she was trying to get to him. She was trying to get to the phone. She admitted that he was pushing her back into the thing to keep her in the car. And she stated that, I realized that he was trying to keep me there and I wasn't going to be there. I wanted to see the phone. I wanted him to talk to me about who was this woman who was Cleopatra. So once she got out of the car, he proceeded to run, and she proceeded to follow him, not one, not two, not three, not four, but she proceeded to follow him 5 blocks down the road, down New York City blocks, and that's how she ended up at that um, infamous area with the three people there. So she's already testified to that. She testified that he did use some force to get his phone back, but once he got the phone back, he darted out of the car. So he was leaving the scene. The police officers talked about, again, Officer Swain was on the stand, and he said that he wasn't the one that made the call for the arrest. His sergeant did. But he did admit to that he did not follow the proper procedures of anything, because once Mr. Majors told him about his coat and his incident and things like that, he was supposed to then make a judgment at that time. I don't think that Jonathan Majors has. I just don't think he has a real reason to testify, unless he just is one of those people that just has to say something. He thinks that he can talk his way out of something. I don't think he has to. Again, the driver is going to testify, and he's going to factually testify what happened in the cab, and it should match up with what Miss Jabari says. If it doesn't match up with Mr. Jabari says, then there'd be an issue or a problem. But if the testimony matches up, I don't think he needs to testify. Whatever the doctor says about her and her injuries and things like that, I don't think that that's going to be enough for them to testify. He doesn't have to explain too much what happened. Again, Mr. Bari did a decent job explaining about what happened. Well, she gave a picture of what happened through the lens of her feelings. But when you talk factually about what happened, she did say, he didn't hit me. He didn't. He reached over and he went to get my phone, and I felt the pressure of him on my head, and he was reaching to get my phone. Now she says he takes her arm and he pulls it back. Um, but once he got the phone, he released her and sat over in the chair and then decided to get out of the cab, and the SUV, and she decided to follow him. So factually she is making the statement that she was the one that initiated the situation. Now, whatever we think about the fact that if he's a cheater or not, that's fine, but being a cheater shouldn't land you in jail. All right. Now that's just my opinion. Again, take the information that I have given you over the past few days, and you come up with your own opinion. My job here is to give you the information, and you make the decision that you need to make to figure out what's going on. Uh, I don't look for this case to last longer than say Wednesday or Thursday. I actually predicted it was supposed to be over on Friday, but I was wrong. So, if he's smart, he won't take the stand, because if he takes the stand, he will open himself up to stuff that he worked so hard to have sealed. Now, what that information is, I do not know. Um, we got some text messages and things like that, but what that other information is, I do not know. But if he doesn't want us to know, I think his best option would be not to take the stand. Where do I see him right now? I don't know. Again, I think he's in a good position. I think his attorney set them back a little bit, and that if she focuses back on that day and stop trying to get that gotcha moment, be more methodical in her questioning and things like that, I think that they're doing a decent job so far. But we will see. What do you all think? Do you all think Jonathan Major should testify? Let me know down in the comments. Again, I appreciate all of you that are following me, and I appreciate your comments. Please comment, because I will talk back. All right, people, we do this every week. Again, please like, comment, and consider subscribing. All right. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell your coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I am over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye bye.